What's going on, guys? Peace be with you. I just wanted to make a quick video about some concerns I have about digital ID. I got some articles here that I have printed off to read to you. Some things about digital ID and what the UK is doing and how that may come to the United States. So I'm going to read some of this and just point out some features that not features, but a few points that I find concerning. So the UK may be about to get even more dystopian. Prime Minister Keir Starmer proposed a plan last week that would require every adult in the United Kingdom to have a digital ID in order to work in the country. With these IDs becoming mandatory, remember, underline that, mandatory, by 2029, employers would be required to consult an app-based system containing a person's name, photo, birth date, nationality, and residence status. Rather than check physical IDs or national insurance numbers, the UK's version of a social security number, before hiring. The proposals are the government's latest bid to tackle illegal immigration, with the new ID being a form of proof of citizens' right to live and work in the UK, reports Sky News. The so-called Brit card will be subject to consultation and would require legislation to be passed before being rolled out. So, we know that the US and Europe, we all had this big immigration problem. Everybody was just coming in and out. I think Europe's a lot worse because we're actually trying to stop it. But it got me thinking, and this could be far-fetched, it got me thinking that, did they let all these people in on purpose for us to create a digital ID under the guise of, oh, it's to make sure who's here, who's not here. We just want to make sure. We just want to track who the right people are here. Are you an American? Well, you deserve to be here. Oh, you're an illegal immigrant? Okay, we're going to get rid of you because you can't get a digital ID. I think that's the way they're going to roll it out, and it's just going to get worse from there. It would make sense that, and it could be far-fetched. I don't know. To me, you're letting all these people in. We don't know who's here. And they're gonna trick us by saying, "Oh well, no, we're doing the digital ID. That way we can stop illegal immigration." They don't even care right now. The United States is the only place that really cares to stop it. I mean, where the borders are better than they have been in the last few years. So I just think that's a very weird undertone. It literally says, the proposals are the government's latest bid to tackle illegal immigration. Well, one, you could just stop. You could just do better border security like we've been doing and deporting people that aren't British. And just seeing who's here. I know it's going to take a while, but that's one way of doing it. It says, in the UK and the US, authorities already employ an array of government-issued identification mechanisms, which are passports, physical driver's licenses, social security, or national insurance numbers. So how different could a digital ID be? Very different, say civil libertarians, privacy experts, and cyber security gurus. So they literally come out and say it's a national tracking system. Okay? Currently, when somebody presents a plastic driver's license, that interaction is between the two parties, and the government is none the wiser. Literally, hear this language. They're not wise. Government is none the wiser. Okay, noted the American Civil Liberties Union in June, but digital driver's licenses and other sorts of digital IDs are being built so that the system notifies the government every time an identity card is used, giving its bird-eye view of where, when, and whom people are showing their identity. That phone home functionality becomes especially intrusive as people start having to use digital ID online, giving the government the ability to track your browsing history. So oh no, it's for immigration. Now it's track you. So every time you get pulled over by the police, we're able to track you. Now, don't get me wrong. This sounds great because then you can track criminals super quick and all that stuff. So under the big umbrella, this big, huge thing, oh, it's going to be great. But what about all the little details? What about all the bad stuff that comes with it? you can paint this up to be a fine piece of art, but underneath is all lies and ugly truths. They'll know where you're at. They can track you when they want to. They'll have your information. Just become less free. And honestly, it's a good setup to the mark of the beast system. It just gets you comfortable. I mean, COVID was a little bit like that. You know, we were a little worried then. Then we kind of beat that. Now they have to figure out these new systems. And after they get you the digital ID, then they'll introduce the digital currency, right? We already have crypto, so it's already here. This is just getting you comfortable for the next step. That's to help you adapt. So anyway, it gives the government the ability to track your browsing history. Now, then they back up and says, Starmer isn't calling for an all-encompassing digital ID where all your online activities are linked. Under the proposals, anybody starting a new job would be required to hold a digital ID, which could then be checked against a central database of those with the right to work in the UK, Sky News reports. That sounds like an ID with limited information for now, but earlier this year, Downing Street was exploring proposals for a digital ID card to track down illegal migration, rogue landlords, and exploitative work. The Guardian report. So that doesn't sound like a simple employability check. And it's not hard to imagine that digital ID system, once created, would prove catnip to politicians and lawmakers who could take it even further. If you already got the ID system, why not use that for taxes, travel, health records, and government benefits too? And why not require for it creating social media accounts or logging on to age-gated websites while we're at it? So that's the first part of it, okay? Right now, one reason online age verification is tricky is that there are lots of different ways to do it, and companies are being asked to implement their own protocols. If digital IDs exist, you could see how they might empower authorities to start demanding even more age verification. Okay? So, such a move would compromise not just freedom from government surveillance, but also people's cybersecurity. A centralized digital ID scheme would also be a honeypot for hackers and foreign adversaries, creating huge digital security risks for our data, warns the civil liberties group Big Brother Watch. So it's very concerning. Now, this is the part, is this coming to America, okay? Americans, should we worry about this? Christian Americans, everybody should be worried about this because this is the future. We're not going to stop it. It's going to happen. But the more we know about it, the better you can prepare your household. And yes, maybe we could vote against it and maybe we can hold it back. But as Christians, we need to be watching this and being prepared for it. Mark of the Beast, Antichrist, all that stuff. Everybody should know about this anyway. But this is my concerns with it, is it's coming. And there's nothing we could do really to stop it because the Bible says so. The Bible says this is going to happen. Anyway, Americans might think this is something only the British must worry about, but a lot of bad ideas regarding technology and speech in Europe, and especially the UK, seem to wind their way over the US. Eventually, the UK's Online Safety Act has spawned similar regulations or calls for similar regulations in the United States. The US has already taken steps toward creating a digital ID system with Real ID. And as of June 13, states had launched digital driver's license systems, and an additional 21 have passed legislation that would enable or study such a system, according to the ACLU. New Jersey just enacted such a bill in August. I didn't even know this, and I'm an American. The ACLU has developed some recommendations for how digital IDs can be built in ways that preserve privacy. Meanwhile, more than 80 individuals and organizations have signed onto a letter saying that digital ID systems must be built without what they call the phone home capabilities that alert authorities every time a digital ID is used. We call on authorities everywhere to favor identity solutions that have no phone home capability whatsoever and to prioritize privacy and security over interoperability and ease of implementation, the letter says. As this push makes clear, there are better and worse ways to build digital IDs, but in the current climate of heightened suspicion toward immigrants, free speech, privacy, protests, and just about everything else, the chances of authorities in the UK or the US implementing the best version seems increasingly slim. And that's, I believe, it for that article, but that's very concerning to me. and I wanted you all to know. Now, if you're not familiar with like what digital IDs are for, there's a few things here. So like, we can go over this. So why is the government introducing digital IDs? The digital IDs will be used to prove a person's right to live and work in the UK or the United States. They will take the form of an app-based system stored on smartphones in a similar way to the NHS app or digital bank cards. Information on the holder's residency, status, name, date of birth, nationality, and photo will be included. Okay? And it says right here, you will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have a digital ID. It is simple as that. The same is going to be here eventually. Okay, so if this is 2029, okay, and all people say, well, Trump wouldn't let that happen. Okay, well, what are you going to do when Trump's out? Who's going to be in office then? We don't even know. Okay, so next person could implement it because they agree with it. I don't know. We're not there yet. We only worry one day at a time. The government says the scheme is designed to curb illegal immigration by making it harder for people without status to find jobs. Ministers argue this is one of the key pull factors for migrants entering the UK legally. Like I said, I think that's just a phony statement because they can stop it by just sending people back and closing their border. Let's see. Here's another thing. Digital ID will be available to all UK citizens and legal residents and mandatory in order to work. It says, however, for students, pensioners, or others not seeking work, having a digital ID will be optional. They say that. Ministers have ruled out requiring the ID for access to healthcare welfare payments. For now, however, the system is being designed to integrate with some government services to make applications simpler and reduce fraud. The government said that in time, digital IDs would make it easier to apply for services such as driving licenses, childcare, and welfare. It said it would also simplify access to tax records. So that's pretty much it that I have for that. And then I just want to cover what it's for. So digital ID systems and what digital ID to them does for them. Digital ID systems improve governance. Hear that? Improve governance, facilitate greater inclusion, fuel economic growth, and help governments achieve their core goals. Far from enabling greater surveillance, digital IDs can actually make information more secure beyond their public sector benefits. They also allow citizens to interact more safely and smoothly with private sector institutions. They are a critical component of a reimagined state fit for the 21st century. And one last thing that I have here, a secure ID for safer, smoother access to services. Safely storing, identifying information in digital wallet enables individuals to securely verify their identity and other attributes in a manner that streamlines processes, reduces fraud, and ensures that services reach those who need them most. From accessing benefits to applying for jobs, the potential application for these verifiable credentials are enormous. It's going to look good on paper, guys. And they're gonna paint it out that way. They're gonna say they're gonna probably do all that. Look, it's easier to do this. They already got us used to that with the Apple wallet, the Bitcoin wallet, your crypto wallet. Like everything is stored on everybody's phones all the time. They even got it to where you carry your credit card and ID on the back of the phone. They're just trying to get you used to it. So I don't think this is the mark of the beast. I know it does cause you to not work in the UK. But like I said, it's not the mark of the beast yet, but I believe you should reject it, sign a petition, and start pushing back against it. And us in the United States, we should do the same thing. We should push back against it as fast as we can. Like I said, I'm not a genius or anything, but this is very concerning. And it's all part of the plan, guys. So my questions to you is, what are you going to do? Like, leave in the comments. What are you going to do, let's say 2029, when this is getting enacted? What would you do? Would you just take it because it's not the mark of the beast? Because no one's forcing you to get it? It would be mandatory to work, though. Would there be an Antichrist around that time? Who knows? How would you prepare your family? Would this shake your faith? And what would you do if you couldn't? If you did deny it, what would you do? I think these are all questions we are going to have to wrestle with, because eventually this is going to happen, and we're going to have to face this storm. But the one thing, a couple of things, is one, to stay prayed up. Step 2, never deny your faith. Step 3, believe in God. Step 4, pray for your enemies and love your enemies. Pray for everyone always, no matter how hard it is. Stay dedicated to God. It'll all be okay no matter what happens. But that's all I have today. Stick with me on the Psalm videos. I'm going to keep posting that until we finish, and then we'll move on to something else. But I went a little over. I was going to try to keep it under 15 minutes. But peace be with you. You guys have a good week. Let me know in the comments about what you would do if this got posted. Anyway, peace be with you guys. Have a good night.